So basically I start with a 12-inch section of bubble wrap. Most rolls will come with 12-inch perforated portions. So then I do 2 to 3 cookies. I lay it upside down, put the cardboard on the back side of the cookies, and then do 2 or 3 more. And then once I have them situated well, I get my little labels ready. You could use Scotch tape. I just had my little logo labels handy, so I used those. But then you pull the bubble wrap around your cookies, and you pull it as tight as you can, of course, without damaging your cookies, but you want it to be snug. Once I get the center, then I do the ends. And I just pull them a little bit tighter on the ends just to make sure it's a secure fit. Then I, do move it around a bit just to make sure nothing slides out, and then do that all over again. So if you have any questions about that part, let me know. But I do put the flat side of my cookies against the cardboard because I'm sure there's gonna be less breakage that way. But this method has been really successful. I don't think I've had any broken cookies since I've done this, maybe 1 or 2. But I say it's pretty foolproof if you do it right. We can never guarantee that the mail carriers will handle them, perfectly. I can't, if someone were to drop the box on the ground, I'm sure there's a chance that they would break. But this is awfully secure. The main point when you're packing cookies is that you just don't want anything moving around. You want those cookies to be snug and stable with no movement whatsoever until the customer opens up the box. I should mention that the cardboard I use to pack these cookies on, it's nothing special. It's usually whatever I have on hand. Sometimes I've used cake boards to, cut them up, or some empty box bottoms, or even shipping boxes that I've gotten in the mail if they're free of lettering and print. I like the cardboard to be clean. I don't want to see any other company's branding on it or any writing if I can avoid it. So I do just look for nice, clean, smooth cardboard, and then I cut it into approximately 12-inch long strips, sometimes, 11 and a half or so, but you want it to fit just inside that 12-inch section of bubble wrap. So usually I do a 12-inch length, and then as far as the height, like the width of the cardboard, that's going to be whatever size box you have. So if your box is, say, 4 inches tall, then you'd want to cut that cardboard maybe 3.5 inches. If you're using a 6-inch tall box, you could cut it at 5, and so on. You get the idea. But you do want that bubble wrap to be able to fit when you wrap around. So typically for me, it's right around 3.5 to 4 inches. But you can play with that to see exactly what size works for you. This packing method, of course, you can do any sizes of anything you want. This is just what works for me. So once you have all of your little cookie files packed up, if you've got all, 4 to 6 cookies in your little bubble wrap packages, then you're going to line them up inside your shipping box. I do kind of lay out one layer of bubble wrap inside the box before I start adding cookies, just for a little bit of extra protection. You can use the small bubbles or big bubbles. I just happen to have small bubbles on hand, so that's what I used here. But as you're loading them in, and you're going to notice, because it's going to be different for every package, depending on the style of the cookies you're decorating. Printed cookies or just flat iced cookies, they're not going to have much depth, so your cookie files won't be as thick. Whereas if you have florals or more 3-dimensional decorations on there, those cookie files can get a little thicker. So it's going to be different for every package on how many files you can fit in your boxes. So play with it. In this video, I started to put them in there, and then I realized, these ones fit well standing up, but then it looks like I'm going to have to lay them down in the back to get the best bang for my buck with regards to like the area, the volume of box that I'm filling up with the size of my cards, my cookie files. So once you get them all in, it fits, make sure it's secure. Again, you don't want anything moving around. Add extra bubble wrap to the top, or you can add crinkle paper just to fill in any gaps that you might have, but make sure nothing moves. I'll also provide a picture here later of some more fancier boxes. So This one, I was just getting them out of state. It was not a gift to anybody. It was just someone just needed them shipped. But if you are gift packaging something, then what I love to do is before I add all those cookie files, I put a nice layer of like gift wrap paper. I lay it in the box so that when I'm finished loading my cookie files, I can kind of wrap it up like a little present. And I'll usually put some ribbon in there, tie a big bow around it, put a little thank you card, or any card. Sometimes customers might want to leave a gift note to wherever they're sending this box to. So I do little gift messages sometimes, but I'll be sure to include a picture of that also. So to create the cute gift wrap box, what you do first, before you load any cookies or any bubble wrap, you take a very long piece of ribbon and you lay the ribbon in first, and then you lay the decorative paper down, and then you start loading your cookies in, so that once you have all of the cookie files in, then you can fold that paper over at the top, just give it a cute little seal. You can seal it up with a logo sticker or a cottage food label, anything you like there, even a piece of tape. And then once that's sealed up, then you tie up your bow, and then you can close the box up. And it's a really cute way just to add a special touch. I also will usually stick, maybe a sticker or a business card or a little thank you note, whether it's from me or from my clients. I'll put a little note just inside that blue paper, just under the fold. And then that way when they open it up, it's a nice little gift. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, always reach out. I'm more than happy to help.